everybody, SonGoshuaku here, and welcome to my podcast review for WWE Super Showdown 2019. But first, make sure to hit that subscribe button followed by hitting the notification bell so that way you are notified as soon as my content is released. So while I have yet to get around to seeing AEW Double or Nothing, but I did see highlights and heard the tremendous amount of praise for this show. I did also watch NXT TakeOver 25. From what we got, two tremendous shows. Can I say the same thing about this show? Not so much. In fact, I don't even think I can say not so much. It's even lower than that. But anyways, let me run through this show real quick, because I'm gonna be honest, very much like Raw and SmackDown, how I only use it as background noise while I'm working out at the gym or editing. That's pretty much what I did with this show. I listened to all of it and only turned my head towards the screen when something interesting was happening. Therefore, the kickoff show, the Usos versus the Revival. The Usos win over, and of course, these teams are talented enough to be on the main roster, so I'm pretty sure we'll see some more matches with them in the future. Now, the main card, Universal Championship match, Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin. The match was okay, but pretty much nothing too different than what you would see on Monday Night Raw every night. And the big thing here is Seth Rollins won. Brock Lesnar came out to try and cash in, but Paul Heyman tripped and fell over the into the ring as he was trying to go through the ropes, and Seth Rollins took advantage with a low blow, which at this point, after what's been several years now of Brock Lesnar getting kicked in the balls by AJ Styles, The Undertaker, why his character on TV is not wearing a cup, I do not know. Or if you've listened to Jon Moxley's interview for a look into the creative process of WWE, that would probably be the answer. That being said, though, obviously this means, Seth Rollins used a steel chair to beat down Brock Lesnar and got his elbow at one point really good. So yeah, definitely no cash in, and I'm guessing you're just going to drag this whole thing out about when Brock Lesnar's cashing in as we go along here. The next match was for the Intercontinental Championship, the Demon Finn Balor versus Andrade. Now, of course, the Demon entrance with Finn Balor is always cool. The body paint is always cool. This match was cool. It's Andrade and Finn Balor, but there wasn't much crowd heat. Now, interesting enough, when it comes to this crowd here, they did have unlike the previous shows where they had the Saudi Arabia officials usually in the front row, the fans were allowed to buy tickets. So that's where you had a lot of the hardcore fans giving a great amount of chants during this, but for the most part, you couldn't really hear the crowd that much, to the point where it sounded like you could hear the air conditioner. I think I did. You audibly could hear the air conditioner in the building, which also probably plays a big factor because Michael Cole kept emphasizing that it was like over 101 degrees, or felt like 101 degrees down there with all the body heat from the stadium. So it was extremely hot, and they were in an outside venue. So that really hurt what was a really cool match between these two. Finn Balor, though, did pick up the win, and there you go. It's ridiculous when you kind of hear Corey Graves is on commentary. They're talking about that that's respect for Andrade, because Demon Finn Balor has that he has to go to this dark place when he respects his opponent that much, and yet he didn't do it against Brock Lesnar on Roman Reigns. So, and nothing against Corey Graves, because he's just saying what they're telling him to, but it's just like, why doesn't he do this for the big matches? But I digress. That's been said by many. Now, next one, we have Roman Reigns versus the best in the world. All right, enough of that. Shane McMahon. Basically, it was an okay match. Once again, Shane McMahon, we know, can go in the ring. Roman, good, but honestly, the big thing here is that Roman Reigns lost. He did the job to Shane McMahon. Not clean, but I mean, you had Drew McIntyre get in there and did the Claymore kick on him, and then after that, Shane McMahon pinned him 1-2-3. So Shane McMahon getting free back-to-back victories, 2 over The Miz and now over Roman Reigns. So Shane McMahon's getting this big push, and where does it go? We'll have to see. Next up is going to be Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. Now, the thing about Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns is You know, I believe he hit a Claymore kick on him at WrestleMania, and that wasn't enough to stop him. Yet, Shane McMahon was able to deal out so much damage to Roman in this match that one Claymore kick was enough to get the job done. Doesn't make much sense, and yeah, let's keep on going. Lucha House Party versus Lars Sullivan. This should have been simple. You get the Lucha House Party in there, Lars Sullivan defeats all three guys, looks like a monster, and you're done. That wasn't the case here. They got a lot of offense, more offense than I think they probably should have if the goal here is to build Lars up as a monster, and it just goes to a no DQ because the referee couldn't contain the action of all three men jumping Lars Sullivan. And then at the end, Lars goes up the ramp and takes all three guys out, and I guess that's how he gets the heat. So it looked like WWE in this match cared more about trying to protect the Lucha House Party than actually build Lars up as a monster. To get you guys an idea, just imagine Kane back in the Attitude Era when he would attack random superstars after debuting in Bad Blood. Imagine if they wouldn't let him fully destroy everyone. It would be weird, right? With monsters. Next match, Triple H versus Randy Orton. So I've seen just about every Triple H and Randy Orton match, I think, to the exception of their first one. I still have yet to watch that, but I can now with the WWE Network. I was there actually live in Chicago, or at the Rosemont at the Allstate Arena when Triple H and Randy Orton had two matches in one night at No Mercy. Triple H actually wrestled 3 times. That was really cool. That was the first televised WWE event I went to in person. This match was, if you like the slow, methodical pace, this match is definitely for you. Corey Graves, he definitely did his best on commentary trying to explain that you're not going to see anything flashy. It's like a chess match, that's how he played the match. Overall, I actually thought the match was pretty good. It was pretty good. Like I said, for Randy Orton Triple H match, you're not gonna get flashiness, but if you like slow, methodical matches, I thought it is pretty okay for what it was. I say good. Yeah, it was good for what it was. The big thing here is at the end, Randy Orton picks up the victory against Triple H with an RKO, and if this is the end of their feud, then it's a good way. I thought they were gonna give it to Triple H. And I wanted Randy to go over, and he did, and as he should. This is a great way to end their rivalry with Randy Orton, as it should be, going over. He is the main roster guy. He's still competing on a full-time level. Triple H is not, so it makes sense to give Randy Orton the win. So I'm glad that they went that direction in this match. Next up, Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley. These guys right here, these are two bigger guys, and they were moving around the ring quick. This is nice, hard-hitting action, back and forth between Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley. I thought that these two guys went out there and did the best with what they could, for the event. And a good solid match here. This is a good solid match, and seeing really showed Bobby Lashley's dominance and his power, and Braun Strowman as well, which we already know. And yeah, good. I wouldn't mind seeing these guys go at it again, actually. Next up is the WWE Championship match, Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler. We've seen these guys face for just about every title they mention, so it's cool to see them finally competing for the WWE Championship. Once again, it was an okay match, a nice solid match you would see on SmackDown, but in terms of a show that's built up as WrestleMania equivalent or just as much or even exceeding, no. And honestly, these guys are going to have another match, a steel cage match, because after the match, during the match, Xavier Woods interferes to get back at Dolph Ziggler, who I believe attacked him earlier, and then Kofi Kingston took advantage, 1, 2, 3 with the Trouble in Paradise, and pinned him and retained the championship. So obviously these two will probably have an even better match sometime down the Stumping Ground, I think, is next. So that was that. Then we had the 50-man Battle Royal, and I gotta admit, I was actually looking forward to the 50-man Battle Royal just for the sheer spectacle of seeing 50 wrestlers in the ring at once, and I always wonder how much weight, just the amount of weight of humanity in that ring. But yeah, a lot of people just got tossed out. There was really nothing big to this match, and in the end, Mansoor won, and Mansoor is from Saudi Arabia, so it was great to see the fans completely enjoy seeing one of their own from their country win. It was a great moment for them, and honestly, it's very controversial, obviously, WWE doing the Saudi Arabia shows, especially when they were trying to get women on the show with Alexa Bliss and Natalya, but the Saudi Arabia government or officials, they said no to it, and it is what it is for that. But I will say, at least if there's one thing to really get joy out of these shows, is that I'm glad that the WWE fans over there who don't get to witness the WWE as much as we do here in other parts of the world, including domestically here in the United States, I'm glad that they get their moment, and seeing their faces and everything and the sheer joy in their faces definitely is very touching to see. Now, as far as Mansoor goes, I'm not familiar with him at all. I guess apparently he was at one of the last year at the Greatest Royal Rumble. But anyways, the thing is, this was a great moment for him, and unfortunately, they're not gonna probably do much with him after this, given WWE's booking. Once again, go ahead and listen to John Moxley's interviews with Chris Jericho and Wade Keller, and you'll get a great look into the WWE creative process and everything. So yeah, I mean, Battle Royal, it was what it was. Like I said, for me, it was more about the beginning, just seeing the spectacle of 50 people in the ring. And now we get to the main event. For the first time ever, Goldberg versus The Undertaker. Now, like I said at the beginning of this review, most of this show was just background noise to me while I catched up on some editing work, but this was one that I actually did decide to watch in its entirety. Now, first, let me just say that when it comes to Goldberg and Undertaker and what they have brought to the business, I have, like many fans, the utmost respect for them, for what Goldberg was able to do for WCW and the moments that he was eventually able to give us in WWE, and The Undertaker. I mean, he debuted the same year that I was born, so essentially, as I have gone through my entire life so far as a WWE fan, The Undertaker's been there, so much respect for what they brought to the table. But that being said, this match, there was a lot of hype for this match, and I wasn't expecting a 5-star classic, but coming off the Brock Lesnar and Goldberg match from WrestleMania 33, which was about 5 minutes of tremendous explosive action, just a knock 'em, drag 'em down fight for nearly 5 minutes. I was there live in person. I was like, okay, this should be pretty good. I thought so. So I was like, let me give these guys a chance and everything. It is a big dream match that we never got, and here it is, about 20 years too late, 15 years too late, but maybe they could do something. And this was very much reminded why honestly this match was sad to watch, and it pains me to say that, but it was sad. The Undertaker and Goldberg's entrance. The entrance with Goldberg was good. The only thing is, you could tell Goldberg bumped his head up again, headbutted the steel door. Why he's still doing that, I have no idea. You could see the cut on his forehead, and his head will play quite a big a part of this match. So the Undertaker came out, and he had a tremendous entrance as always, and the match actually started off pretty good. Both of them were face to face, and what ended up happening is Undertaker, Goldberg, he uses the Undertaker's taunt, the slitting the throat taunt, and Undertaker punched Goldberg. Goldberg went into the ropes, rappelled off the ropes, and speared him, and hit him with another spear. So it's off just exactly what you would expect. But what ends up happening is Goldberg goes for another spear to the Undertaker, and his head runs right into the steel post, and it busts him open. At first I thought maybe he did a blade job, maybe he got the okay to do one from the cut on top of his forehead, but it was coming from the back of his head. And at first I was thinking, is he selling? Or it became quick, but then it became apparent that Goldberg is completely out of it. He busts his head wide open on that turnbuckle post, and from here the match, even before that spot, there was a spot where Goldberg he athletically did really good to roll the Undertaker down to the ground, and then he basically tried to do a knee, was it a knee bar submission and everything, but unfortunately couldn't get it on there, and Corey Graves did his best, and the commentators really tried their best to really try and make up for the shortcomings of these guys in the ring. Like he was trying to say it was modified, and then from there it was just like one thing after another. Undertaker, every time he went for a choke slam he did the choke slam to Goldberg couldn't get his legs way up in the air, so it looked really wonky, very similar to if you guys remember the choke slam Taker gave Hogan at Judgment Day 2002, which I know many fans consider the worst choke slam ever, and this match, unfortunately, it might be right up there with it now. And then you had Goldberg. He attempted the jackhammer, but he couldn't. His legs just started wobbling under him. He was on spaghetti legs, and Taker ended up. It turned it into a brain buster pretty much, and even I think before that, Taker did a tombstone, and Goldberg landed on his head. So both men doing their finishers, landing on each other's heads. It could have gotten very scary. I mean, both these guys could have ended up paralyzed or worse. Taker, he managed to do the old school pretty fine, and I thought Taker was looking pretty good in the match. Outside of the tombstone, Goldberg looked just completely out of it, and it's clear that they had to call an audible. I wasn't expecting a long match. I'm hearing that it was scheduled to go possibly 20 minutes, and I was really getting into the first part of the match. I really was rooting for these guys to have a nice, decent match that it'd be like nice for them to go out on, and it just wasn't. And at the end, he did another choke slam, but once again, Goldberg couldn't get his legs all the way in the air, so it just looked wonky, all out of place. Taker got a pinfall. 1, 2, 3. It was over, and you could visually see on the Undertaker's face that how upset he was. Reports started coming in, even the way they cut off to the show, like you hear something like with Michael Cole, he's trying his best, like he kind of wants to say, you know, the Undertaker wins a tremendous hard-fought victory, but he kind of just had to go in and say, you know, Taker, well, that's what it is. He's dominated for the last 30 years of WWE, and who knows how many more chances we have to see Undertaker doing this victory pose. So yeah, there's reports coming in that Undertaker and Goldberg were in shouting matches in gorilla position. Vince McMahon was upset. It sounds like everybody was upset with how the match went. Goldberg even went online. Even Matt Riddle was bashing Goldberg. He definitely has no love lost for Goldberg there. And Goldberg, he was even saying in his Twitter post about how he made a tweet basically how he apologized to all the fans that he wasn't able to go all out like he wanted to tonight because he knocked himself out. And he said for those that did get pleasure, he says thank you. Man, yeah, like I said, as a fan of both these guys' work, it's sad to see him go out like this. Like I thought if that was Goldberg's last match at WrestleMania 33 against Lesnar, that would have been a great way to remember him in the ring. But now it's like, we got to do this. It's one of the reasons I never checked out the last Saudi Arabia show with what was it, the Crown Jewel. I just did not want to see Shawn Michaels in the ring. I wanted my final memories of Shawn Michaels in the ring to be WrestleMania 26 against The Undertaker. I have not watched that show yet, even as of this recording, and from what everyone says, I am better off letting the memory stay there. It's funny too, Brock Lesnar, it's like Brock Lesnar was able to give these guys the best last matches of their career so far. I mean, you look at that 2015 Hell in a Cell match, the second time they fought in the cell against Taker and Lesnar, and then you look at Lesnar's match with Goldberg at WrestleMania 33, excellent matches, and those would have been it for both men. Great way for them to go out. So yeah, it was sad, but you know what, the effort was definitely there. Much respect to both men, they really tried, and that what makes it even more sad is that you could tell both men were trying to put on something that you would remember. And you know, and like I said, I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it would have been had they fought in like 2003 or 4 when Goldberg was first in the WWE. I wasn't expecting that. I was just hoping, okay, it's probably gonna be about a 5 to 7 minute match. I'm just hoping that it's gonna be really good, and it looked like that's what they had planned. Unfortunately, it didn't work. You know, you had the botched tombstone reversal, didn't work out. I mean, just it fell apart. Everything in this match fell apart. And you know, it's 100+ degrees out there. You are dealing with two men that are over 50 years old. I mean, you know, at what point, right? At what point does Vince McMahon or the others realize, or even the wrestlers themselves, even though it's a big money payday that they're getting, it just might not be worth it. Even the Undertaker liked to comment on Instagram and everything, where someone was basically very critical of the match and disliking it and everything. And let's be honest, Goldberg, Undertaker, both men have really accomplished everything there is to do in the business. They've made enough money. You would hope to enjoy their retirement. They're multi-millionaires now. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing left for the Undertaker to do. It is just like, they keep doing these type of matches, and it's like it just gets sadder and sadder in the ring. And it's like, wouldn't you want to see these guys go out and one amazing match and go like, man, that was a heck of a match for that guy to go out on. That was deserving of a legend. And it just like, man, it's getting sad. It's just really getting sad to watch it. But anyways, that being said, was this show worth going out of your way? Like I said, majority of the show was just background noise to me, and I really only turned when I slightly was interested in something, and I sit down and watch the Undertaker and Goldberg match. But I'm glad I did, because I was able to catch up on a lot of editing work and everything. Got a lot more accomplished than I would have sitting here for 4 hours watching the show. So yeah, I can't really recommend this show, honestly. Most of the matches you're gonna see again at what's it called, Stomping Ground, that'll probably be a lot better. And on top of that, Undertaker and Goldberg. Honestly, if you enjoyed the Goldberg and Brock Lesnar match at WrestleMania 33, I would say let the memory stay there. You're better off letting that be your final memory of Goldberg in the ring as opposed to this match. And as far as the Undertaker goes, shoot, call it what? You can call it WrestleMania 28 up against Shawn Michaels. Well, Shawn is the referee, and up against Triple H, end of an era. Even the last matches he had with Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2015 and Hell in a Cell 2015, I thought those were the last two good Undertaker matches. So yeah, overall, I definitely would say this is definitely not a must-see show. But hey, everyone involved made a crap ton of money, and at the end, that's what this show was all about. It was all about the money, and that's pretty much, there you go. I wish the Undertaker and Goldberg match would have turned out a lot better than what it would have been, because it is one of the last few dream matches we could have seen, but it is what it is. So there you go. That is my podcast review for WWE Super Showdown 2019. That being said, guys, definitely make sure to follow me on all the social media platforms. They're right there in the description and on the screen as well. And check out my upcoming short film, Battle Deception. I have the trailer already out. You can click the link right there in the video or in the description below. Until then, everyone, take care.